the second half. You can see Limestone's half of the field. Now we're back to the middle as Emmanuel was off screen in a little huddle. And they will start with possession.
By the way, we've shaved 5 degrees off our temperature at 70. We were at 75 at game start, but the humidity has gone up 10 percentage points over that period of time. Now it's 70.
And Guy Machado, look at this, takes the ball away.
Had my head down when all that was going on.
I think they were saying he was offsides because he anticipated the start.
And we are off and running here in the second half of play. Of course, this will be Limestone's final action before the huge matchup a week from tonight at Pfeiffer. There's just going to be a little bit at stake in that game. Olstead. Inside to Salvat. Professor, if I may ask such a question, as Connor Young got tripped up backside, and let's hope Connor's okay.
Now it looks like they're calling Connor for the foul.
And Connor's pleading, hey, I got tripped up from behind. And now they're going to reverse
now
the
they're reversing it.
Professor, not to put you on the spot, who has more to lose in that matchup at Pfeiffer next Wednesday night?
I would think that Pfeiffer does in a certain sense, just because they lose to Limestone. They've taken their 3rd loss on the season, and that's got to weigh pretty heavily. Now, certainly if they split with Limestone, that gets to be a really tough call.
Inside, and Dunnett with the soft hands. At last check, Pfeiffer had a 1-0 lead early in the second half at home against USC Aiken. That in a non-conference matchup in Meisenheimer, North Carolina. Did have one other conference matchup that was played under the sun today. Southern Wesleyan picked up a win at King, 3-1. So
Actually, I'm going to change my answer on that. Limestone probably has more to lose just simply because it doesn't have the strength of schedule.
Salvat back to the inside.
You know, big loss was losing that game that got called off for Lightning against Wingate.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the Wingate Bulldogs in Tusculum in just a minute, as the SAC has the top 2 teams in the regional rankings. But you take a look right now at where we are as far as the conference standings go. White knuckle time in the pre-tournament slate. Limestone and Pfeiffer each at 7-0, so both teams more than likely will be 8-0. Pfeiffer will have a weekend game that it will have to navigate to go in and meet Limestone at 8-0 next week in Meisenheimer. Erskine sitting at 5-2. Emmanuel trying to bump up to the number 2 slot with a win here tonight at 4-2, and then Southern Wesleyan at 4-4. King and Lees McRae are each at 3-4. Mount Olive 2-5, Barton 1-5-1 in North Greenville. Still looking for its first win through 9 matches, which included 8 losses.
Oh, nice through ball
to
Kaiser from Gregerson.
Olstad with the lefty cross and
a little
off
too
the
much.
Mark. Thank goodness, I believe it's Gagon that's okay. He kind of took one with the near the twig in the berries region. As bless his heart, he was in the fetal position on the far sideline, and with the play on the opposite side of the field where he was at, nobody really saw him. And in duress, McGee Machado, an opportunity here. It's a little 2-on-1. Inside the Gee, lefty shot. Oh, just off the near side cage. Oh, my.
And very well put together. It was kind of a 2-on-2 situation, but the positioning of the defenders for Emmanuel just not right for handling what Limestone gave to him.
You know, Professor, you take a look at the national rankings this week, 25 teams in the latest NSCAA Division II national rankings. And of those 25 teams, only one remained in the same position as they were a week ago. Purvis skies this one out, and Emmanuel with a throw-in.
Yeah, Limestone able to move up 3 in the national rankings.
Yeah, the only team that stayed where they were at from last week was Fort Hays State at number 25. Everybody else gets juggled around. Salvat, good pressure.
Oh, a nice takeaway there.
Thefted the ball away from Andrew Tanner. Guy Machado tried to play that one off his shin and forward. But Mutton chips this one. Nice job off the outside of his foot by Hibbert. Salvat trying to find Guy on a sideline run. Guy against the much girthier defender, and that's a Limestone throw-in.
Came close to a corner.
But Rockhurst, we have a new number 1 in the Division II national rankings this week. Previous number 1 Rockhurst lost for the first time, so they dropped to number 5. Wingate takes over that number 1 position with LIU Post, St. Edwards, and Simon Frazier. 2, 3, and 4 respectively. And see if this is a Limestone corner or is it a throw-in?
Should be a throw. No, it's going to be a corner.
Limestone, as the professor mentioned, moving up 3 spots to number 10, Adelphi, Lynn, Tusculum, and the University of Charleston, 9 up to 6 respectively. Biggest jump in the polls this week, and maybe it was University of California, San Diego that may have beat Rockhurst. I don't know, but punched out of there by Dunnett. And that cleared over the sideline and a goal kick. But California, San Diego catapults 9 spots this week to number 12. Colorado Mesa up 10 spots to number 14. Pfeiffer at number 16.
So it's interesting. Pfeiffer is above Limestone in the regional rankings, but below them in the coaches' poll. And that's because of the record, the fact that Pfeiffer has taken a pair of losses. One to Lynn, who's above them in the poll, and off the crossbar on the header by Guy.
Goalkeeper's best friend, the old post. Yes, in the Division II.
The other game they lost, by the way, was to Tusculum.
You know, by the way, as far as the way the NSCAA coaches see the regional rankings, Wingate, Tusculum, Limestone, and Pfeiffer, the top 4 teams. But I guess when it comes to the NCAA region rankings, and that's the go-to poll right there, it's Tusculum 1, Wingate 2, Pfeiffer 3, and Limestone 4.
Yeah, and the biggest difference there is the regional rankings are based on a set of formulas, and so a lot of it is almost predetermined. There's not necessarily a lot of choice that the people and the committees have.
Salvat finally was able to draw a foul in just in the nick of time as he came out of his shoe.
In fact, one of the things the NCAA started doing last fall, and they continue to do, is they actually put the numbers of all the different criteria that are used in the ranking system.
Salvat gets that shoe back on. Hibbert trying to orchestrate something. Olstad went on a sideline run, then had to stop on a dime to adjust back to the pass from Salvat.
And going back to those regional rankings, one of the criteria, of course, is the win-loss percentage. And, of course, Limestone at 11-1 has a better percentage than Pfeiffer does.
Hold on here. Professor Machado with an opportunity inside, and he
gets
teardrops that into the back of the net for his second goal of the night. Guy Machado, number 15 on the year.
Nicely placed ball. And he outruns, uses his head, and then just gets a solution wide. And
sorry to interrupt you there, Professor,
but
I
that's
thought you
all
might
right.
want to take a look at that.
And I was able to run the replay for people to see it again. So 2-0 for the Saints on the Saints' 11th shot. Let's go back to some of those criteria. Now, of course, Wingate and Tusculum both undefeated so far. And they're going to have the top ranking in one-loss record. Division II strength of schedule. Pfeiffer with .466. Limestone with .510. So actually Limestone has a higher strength of schedule than Pfeiffer does in Division 2.
Oh, you know what I hear coming up? Oh, well, that's interesting.
Yes, that is interesting. In Region 1 loss, Limestone still...
Professor here may end up start the politic for Limestone to be higher regionally ranked than where they are.
I'm looking at the wrong criteria.
There you go.
No, I'm looking at the women's rankings, not the men's.
Salvat through a triple team, doesn't win that matchup, and now Contreras leads the charge back up the field.
But we can find the same thing for, here we are.
Well, I'm just glad you're not a pilot, looking at a different flight chart as you're coming into the wrong airport.
Limestone's strength of schedule is .429. Pfeiffer is .532, and so that's where one of the things that allows them to overcome that extra loss.
Gagon working against Contreras, who goes to the sideline. Good step up here by Joe Pegg. Pegg trying to settle the ball in a field of play. Tries to feather that one forward to Guy Machado, but Guy rubbed out of play by Josh Smith.
Another criterion is record against teams with an over 500 record. Limestone is 1-0-0. They've only played one team so far with over 500 record. Now this is the second one here. But Pfeiffer is 4-2-0 against teams with an over 500. And that makes a big difference there. In region strength of schedule for Limestone .432, for Pfeiffer .535, just slightly different numbers than the overall. And the performance indicator, which is kind of the sum of everything put together, 19.4 for the Saints and 20.7 for Pfeiffer. And by the way, for Wingate and Tusculum, it is Tusculum is 22.667 and 22.091.
And that
for
was
Wingate.
That was what kind of a category?
It's called the performance indicator. It's kind of a sum of everything weighted the way they normally would evaluate it. And that's usually the determining factor for the regional rankings. Now, of course, a win here tonight can make a big difference for the Saints because it's against a team with a record of over 500. That one goes out of bounds, or else they can get to it.
And at the other, I do not know what USC Aiken's record is. That's who Pfeiffer is playing tonight. So
I can tell you that because it's in here.
USC Aiken is always a quality soccer program. Not sure of the year.
2-10 this year, so that won't help Pfeiffer at all, and will lower their strength of schedule. But probably not enough to make up for the fact that, Pfeiffer has played Tusculum. They've played Lynn. Limestone played Wingate, and that got canceled, but doesn't really have another really good opponent in the record.
So basically what it looks like is you have to take care of the regular season matchup with Pfeiffer, and then you're going to have to find a way to get past them when it comes to the Conference Carolinas tournament.
And, in fact, you want to get past them for the Conference Carolinas tournament as well, so you have 2 wins over them to boost your standings in the ranking system.
Purvis working on the shutout. Emmanuel's going to press up here a little bit. Hibbert trying to go to Salvat down the sideline. Good header by Larson. Gregerson there to tow the ball down.
Oh, it goes by everyone, and Guy able to find it.
Gagon plays wide to Joe. Pegg trying to settle down. Gets that one inside the 18 where anything can happen. Ball moving around inside. Gregerson tries to go in.
Ball still loose.
And somehow their keeper is able to gobble up the ball.
He had to work hard for that one.
He's had to do a lot of hard work
one direction
tonight.
And then the other and back again.
And Hibbert able to head that back outside for a minute before Tanner goes airborne.
And this time he heads it back to his keeper so that they can restart.
Well, we were talking about it earlier. I mean, Limestone has, and that's why it would be fantastic if the Saints could somehow get that tournament here on the men's side as well. Saints have really been scoring well here in the last few matches. 4 in the midweek game last week. What was it, 8 on Saturday, I believe you said?
Yes.
And then 2 here tonight. And the Saints have dominated as far as the shots go. And remember, neither team had a shot till we were about 15 minutes deep into the first 45 of play. Off the foot of Larson. Trying to go to the end line, and that one well off the mark. Ill-fated cross attempt by Andrew Tanner.
By the way, Erskine, the final game of the season for the Saints on a week from Saturday, comes in currently with the regional rankings before tonight. Any action that might happen tonight, 7-5-1. So that's another team over 500. So Limestone has a potential, if they beat Pfeiffer and Erskine and win tonight, to have 4 wins against teams with an over 500 record. And that changes their position in that category quite dramatically.
So basically what it boils down to, loyal soccer viewers, is Limestone just has to go out and continue to take care of business.
Yep.
Forget about everything else. Just
That's
go
right.
out.
Just go out and win.
Chested down to the turf. Kaiser from the backside disrupted that push up the field.
Well, this one goes right to Peg.
Joe tries to feed that one to Gregerson, who has Machado in the middle of the field. Little hand grabbing going on.
But it didn't matter. Gregerson comes up with it.
Outside to Salvat on the face-up. Works back to the inside. And a shot with a clear lane. Nice curve on the shot. But the problem was, done it, the goalkeeper had a clean line of sight.
And was right there. He hardly had to move for it. Moving his players up, trying to change the direction of the field here.
This reminder, more news and notes on Saints Athletics available online at GoLimestoneSaints.com. Open 24/7, 365. Rosters, schedules, bios, stats, and so much more. It's all at GoLimestoneSaints.com. Did you know that was open 365, 24/7?
It's supposed to be.
Olstad to the sideline from Machado, looking for the hat trick. He's up to 15 goals on the
nice
year.
Nice takeaway there.
Olstad tried to jam that up. Hibbert up from the back line, trying to settle down a ball that had a lot of English on it. Salvat working through the middle of the field. Able to lay that one off to the Kaiser. Working 1-on-2, chips out inside, trying to go to Salvat just inside the 18. But Emmanuel wins that out, looking to go quickly to offense from the defense, but not for now, thanks to Gay Gunn.
Anton saw forwards pressing, and so they send back to the keeper.
Anton Salvat tried to just let that pass teardrop through. Saints do a good job clogging the midfield with Gay Gunn. Has a little bit of time here and lays off to Olstad.
Not
but
quite a big enough pass there.
Intercepted by Tanner, who was a first-half substitution. Watch out here off the pinball, and Hibbert makes a safe play.
Yeah, Sam, being a senior, really kind of knows where he wants to put the ball and has a pretty good awareness of what's on the field.
Taken away by Russell. Contreras. Now Emmanuel tried to use the whole field, weren't able to settle that one down off the spin off the turf.
So Limestone back in possession. Substitution waiting on the sidelines for the Lions. They won't be able to send him in until the throw is from the coming in favor of the Lions.
I'll tell you one thing Emmanuel has, Professor, and I'm not sure if you've seen that or not, but here's Guy Machado going for a hat trick, just not enough on that header attempt. You ever seen the bowling alley they have in that facility?
Yes, I have. That is impressive. The double gym, so that you have a separate one for volleyball and basketball, and good pool. Very impressive facility.
Never forget when I made a trip down there when I'd first, not too long into my broadcasting career, we had to go down to the old basketball gym they had. And you talk about tight. And a substitution
Tighter
horn.
than Coker's old facility?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So 5'9" and 22 in for
Well, the big one
Emmanuel.
coming in for Emmanuel, and that one was 9 Matreski. Leads them in points and is their number one player as far as assists go.
Josh Rogers and Channing Park, one of the Park also one of the starters along with Matreski, trying to save him until only less than a half hour left.
I have to tell you, Professor, it's turned into a delightful evening.
Company
Notwithstanding. Watch out here through midfield. Oh, that's a nice job settling down for Cameron.
But he left it out in the middle.
Connor Young got the start tonight because of some injuries up front. Once again, if you've just logged on, Nestor Aguiar and Luis Robles out of the Limestone lineup tonight because of illness. Olstad not giving up on the play.
No, takes it right back after it's stolen from him.
Salvat back to Olstead. See the ball taking all kinds of spin, and Limestone with a corner.
Olstead trying for the cross, instead goes over the end line, and Jorge Salvat is going to take care of that. Gagan coming out, and number 6, David Lowry. And now Lowry came in for Anton earlier, so they're going to play him a little farther forward, presumably, with this substitution.
Trying to set it up here for Sabat to chip in, but the net had enough of his guys walling up the white shirts.
Short, high punt. Nicely set of headers there for Emmanuel.
Cameron down the sideline, and what a great job by Anton.
No, that was the guy that just came in, Lowry.
Lowry. So good foot race. No, I got to tell you, it was 20, Professor.
I think you're right.
Near side, Olstad.
Looking for Gee.
Just didn't take the right hop to him. Gregerson, nice little heel kick. Stopping on time, see what Olstead can do here. To the far side post, can the Saints crash? Punched out by the goalkeeper. Joe Pegg runs up defensively for the white shirts. Anton wreaking havoc on that far sideline against Russell. Throw in for the Lions.
But now Limestone fully back defensively. This one will be a Limestone throw.
So how many more region rankings? I don't know where the conference, Carol. I don't know if
well, okay, next week is the last full week of regular season action, and then you have tournaments the next week. And so it should be 2 more regional rankings, one next Tuesday and the one the following Tuesday, and then the selection show the following Sunday.
So the Conference Carolinas tournament, is that on the championship, is that on selection Sunday weekend, or is there some breathing room between the tournament and when the field is announced?
Let's see.
That's where I get a little confused. I wasn't sure where the conference tournament was in alignment with Selection Sunday. Pegg teardrops that one up the sideline. Connor Young drop back to Kaiser. Pegg going station to station. That belched back out to the midfield line. And a throw-in coming in here for Limestone.
Selection show should be the first Sunday in November. So, yes, that weekend will be when the tournament's finished. So unlike some of our lacrosse seasons where we have the games done well before because we start earlier in the South, in terms of being able to pack our schedule a little bit earlier. Noah Sale coming in for Salvat. Give Jorge a bit of a rest.
And, of course, Wingate and Tusculum are going to end up, one's going to end up knocking down the other to a degree because they still have to play.
Right.
And you would have to think like Limestone and Pfeiffer twice.
Well,
Larson.
For Limestone to have only chance of hosting the regional, they really need Tusculum and Wingate to beat each other.
In other words, a split.
Yeah. But in terms of if one loses both games, in other words, loses the regular season and loses presumably the championship match, if it all goes as would be seeded, then that double loss would probably guarantee that Limestone gets in if they win out, even if they don't host.
Saints looking to take advantage here. Guy Machado running down the near sideline, trying to get him a through ball. Guy trying to work back to the inside. Nice little outside move, and barely got anything on the shot, but still able to place it near the goal.
And because it went off, well, the reason it went wide is it was off of the body of the defender, so they earn a corner. And it looks like Noah Sale is going to take it. Leave Lowry and Joe Pegg back at midfield and everyone else moving forward.
And, of course,
Sale taking it maybe because he's one of the shorter ones out there. They're trying to get some tall bodies for getting to headers easily.
From the side, Connor Young, pinballs in. Machado,
Foul.
I believe. Or is there a foul inside?
No, it was a follow for, is that Anton? I think it was Anton with the goal on a header.
His third of the year, the redshirt freshman. So the Saints with a 3-0 lead with just over 21 to go in the game.
So the ball bounced around enough different times, and if you're in the unfortunate situation defensively as Emmanuel was to have that many different rebounds of the ball, makes it really tough to keep the ball out of the goal.
You know, one of the things I was going to mention, Professor, is, you know, a lot of times folks like to talk about a size of a senior class and say, oh, well, you're losing 15, 16 seniors, and I've always been one of quantity or quality versus quantity. And that Erskine match coming up here the following weekend, you know, Limestone has half a dozen seniors on this team, but the problem with those half a dozen seniors is they all have huge impacts on this program.
That's right.
You know, with Nestor Aguiar, Bjorn Oldstad, Guy Machado,
Sam Hibbert,
George Savat, Sam Hibbert, Joe Pegg. So not many in quantity, so to speak, but it's a quality type thing.
And Guy Machado gets a rest as number 11, Douglas Jadrik, is in, the redshirt sophomore from Stockholm, Sweden.
Yeah, a little tug from the backside there by Channing Park. The official says play on. Limestone down the sideline. Nice little stop on a dime and a drop back here for Allstad with the lefty cross going to the far side post. Limestone's got a white shirt there.
Oh, a nice back
acrobatic kick.
Was that Lowry or was...
So nice effort off the far side, but it all goes for naught.
Yeah, well, that was Connor Young.
19 and a half to play.
Oh,
Limestone.
Nice move there for Emmanuel.
15 goals now in its last 3 matches, and that's wide and off the mark. 6th shot of the game for Emmanuel, minus 12 in that category.
Yeah, Limestone putting up 18. It's not quite what Bjorn wanted.
Well, Bjorn has a flair for the dramatic. Connor Young through midfield, smelling blood. Noah Sale has Olstead coming up behind him. Plays to the outside to Goddard.
Oh, nice feedback to Sale.
Trying to set it up. Things are a little tight. Tries to get some separation here with Olstad. Nifty bit of footwork, putting on a video clinic there. Lowry back to Olstead. Try to drop it back to the last line defense. Olstead not giving up on the play and making life difficult for Channing Park. Larson across the midfield line. Into the middle for Russell. Pegg has the defense far side. Now Anton to the end line. And a goal kick.
Good protection by Miguel Anton. So they've, you know, last time Lowry went in as a replacement for Anton. This time they're effectively turning the back 4 into a back 5.
Again, Emmanuel came in winners of 6 straight. And this one was one that the Saints were really worried about, being shorthanded, playing a very confident Emmanuel team. Lowry, that ball had a lot of spin to it. That's why Emmanuel's backer couldn't maintain possession. Olstad working down the sideline. Kaiser's
got multiple options here.
It's always nice to have options. Now Noah Sale with a little possession time. Little inside action. Saints right now being very deliberate with a 3-goal lead, a little over 17 to play. This will represent Limestone's 4th consecutive win. Goderick had the ball taken away, tried to fight to get the ball back, and he's called for the foul. Olstad tries to win that one, but then 3 in the white called for the shove on the backside on Park.
Yeah, it came in a little too hard and heavy going for the header. This is a length that so far Emmanuel hasn't been able to put together. But it is an opportunity, nonetheless.
Becker really puts his leg into that, headed dangerously inside, but soft hands.
I think that was actually headed by a Limestone player.
Saints' own goal previous game.
This time Purvis was definitely ready for it.
Saints on Saturday, I believe. Professor, correct me if I'm wrong, 3 different goalkeepers. Was that right?
That's right.
See if Purvis goes the distance tonight. Noah Sale, traffic through the midfield. I had ice water in his vein as Jake Young was sprinting over to him. Joe Pegg keeps one on the ground. Saints pinch up over on that far sideline. 18-6 shots in favor of Limestone. The Saints looking to go to 8-0 in the conference, 12-1 overall. Steered back out. Saints again have 2 white shirts on the ball. Joe Pegg in a full-fledged battle, and Joe does a good job of earning the foul.
And we've got time called as Joe is slow to get up.
Just trying to re-tie that shoe, thankfully. Well, Pfeiffer, to say the least, has now separated
I see that.
from USC. I would appreciate if you would not look over my shoulder. How many times have I asked you not to look over my shoulder? It just goes in one ear and out the other. If we hadn't worked together for so long, we couldn't talk to each other like that on air. 7-0. Pfeiffer has the lead there with a little over 8 to go. Here's a one off the back post and a great save.
Anton almost got his 2nd goal. If that rebound doesn't go forward, it's trouble.
You just have an extra giddy up in your step these days because the National Hockey League season has gotten underway.
That's right. I haven't yet been able to see a game. Unfortunately, been too busy with other things like this.
Lowry off a restart with a little over 14 minutes to play.
2 substitutes for the Lions waiting on the sideline. They haven't had an opportunity as there hasn't been a throw for Emmanuel.
See what Holstad, a little bit of an overrun here as a turf monster tried to keep the ball away from him, trying to keep it in. Linesman official flag is up off the near side, but the official overrules and says let him play on. Noah Sale, the pressure from the backside. Now through the midfield for Cameron. Cameron a little off balance Pass forward, cleared out by Anton off the chest of Yoderick. Gregerson has an opportunity out the each side, tripped up by a slide tackle. And chagrined was Danny Cameron.
He's going to get a little talking to. It's just one step short of a card. He was going for the ball, but didn't really have a good angle on it.
To me, that was worse than what our card was in the first half. But you got a 3-0 lead, so let's roll on.
Joe Pegg looks like he's going to take the free kick.
Joe, one of the half a dozen seniors on this Limestone team.
Nicely placed.
Limestone trying to say that it was contacted by an Emmanuel player, but the linesman says no. Well, yes.
Yeah, he does. He agrees.
I know this.
So, Limestone's making one substitution and Emmanuel 2, it looks like. Numbers 2 and 4 for Emmanuel. Sean Fitzgerald, who started, and Andrew Tanner, who did not, coming in. Limestone sending in number 25, Vincent Weigand, freshman from Schweinfurt, Germany, and for Connor Young. 9 and 5, Matreski and Rogers coming out.
I'm just disappointed that we no longer get to announce Andrew Manantena's last name. To the near side post, and Nat Kareen's out over the crossbar.
He was one of those seniors that graduated, but still had eligibility, and he's playing for somebody in Division I.
I did not know that.
We've got 3 players from last year's team, or 2 players that are playing Division I.
As they continue going to graduate school.
Well, in the case of Harry, it was just a transfer without going to grad school.
To the outside. Stutterstead move, all nice job splitting a double team. Yoderick tried to find Olsted.
Leave the throw for Bjorn.
Emmanuel, by the way, will dip to 4-3 in the conference, 7-5 overall, and the win streak will come to an end at 6. Foul Limestone.
Ooh.
Quickly up the restart here, Spring Hall.
Look at how well Anton is able to take that away.
Lowry had a English on that ball like a bowler. Here's a chip inside the 18, headed on by Yodrick, but a save by Dunnett. 21st shot for Limestone.
Nicely placed. Just not enough speed on it to fool the goalie. Wanted a handball, and I think they got it. Yep. Limestone's going to put in Corentin Guégan back in.
Oh, by the way, Pfeiffer's not done. 8-zip.
Oh, who are they playing?
USC Aiken.
Oh, that's right. They were 2-10, wasn't it? Soon to be 2-11. Lowry with a nice stop there.
Kaiser tried to tow that to the turf to keep possession, but could not hang on.
Olstead doing a good job of forcing it back. Then the double team. Oh, nice pass in.
Lowry in the bright orange shoes had the mark.
Headed out by the Saints.
Gregerson. Matchup over here on the near sideline.
Nice play there by Emmanuel.
Good job by Anton to get over the top, and hopefully
he's hurt. He's hurt. Shot just over the crossbar.
Well, perhaps just a stinger. Luckily, he's up on his feet.
So Gregerson coming in for the Saints, and number 10, Dibed Contreras, sophomore from Duluth, Georgia. So Anton coming out. He's actually okay. May have just gotten from the contact a little bruised.
And by the way, Professor, this is the final. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen with the conference tournament, whatnot, but this will be the final under the lights action for Limestone before the tournament, with the Erskine game on Senior Day at 2 o'clock. Sale runs out of real estate. Yoderick has that taken away, but a Limestone throw-in.
Yeah, they're able to have that in the afternoon because that's an away football game at Carson Newman before Limestone closes out the football season with 2 home games following 2 Saturdays.
Yoderick.
Oh, nicely placed there in front. And Vigan almost got to it. Still chased it down.
Nice hustle by the freshman. Vigan getting some valuable playing time. A chip to the far side post. Done it. The goalkeeper comes out. Bouncer by Gregerson. Gobbled up on the 22nd shot of the game for Limestone. Lowry.
Got a foot on it.
Gregerson. Oh, nice job.
Nice job by Kaiser.
Kaiser trying to work his way in against the face guard defense. Does a pirouette. Has some help there and able to teardrop a pass. Back to Vigan. Finds Olstad. Back to Vigan. Has Gay Gunn on the inside. Tries to go forward, and Olstad getting
nice
set up
one.
well. A little too far away from the goal. Settled down. Kaiser with a corkscrew shot over the crossbar.
Not a bad result for a bouncing ball. Number 16 for the Saints in. Chris Harrison. He came in the first half. He's in for Gregerson.
I'm trying to see, Professor. Looks like everybody on the Limestone bench dressed out tonight, other than the goalkeepers. Everybody has seen action. Kaiser getting inside, and that one deflected
shot
by
So
Dunn.
that'll be a corner in the far corner. And Kaiser is going to be replaced by number 23, Harvard Espiord, and number 5 for Pfeiffer, Josh Rogers back in. It's coming in for number 8, Craig Russell.
I don't know what the percentages are, but of Limestone's 24 shots, how many have been on goal? But the Saints with a 3-0 lead.
Nicely punched out, but
bicycle kick attempt. Be careful.
Harrison almost got taken out on the bicycle kick. And a nice move there.
Well,
but an even better one by Lowry to just send it back to the box. Let Purvis clear it.
And he got a little cardiovascular work in the process.
That's right.
He'll sail down the sideline. Here's
Harrison.
An opportunity here for Chris.
Couldn't settle on the ball, but it comes back to him. Now they send it out of bounds. You wanted to know 13 shots on goal, 24 total shots, so a little over 50%. Maybe 53, 54%.
Want to thank all of our production crew here behind the scenes tonight. Glad we can make them look good again. Rumor has it we may just have a meeting after this. Sale tried to sail that one down the sideline, but an Emmanuel throw in, but it's all academic.
Now the question is the final score going to remain 3-0, and does Limestone preserve the shutout?
Wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing to have a week off before you go play arguably your biggest match of the season.
Well, if you've got anybody hurt, it's good.
And we do have some illness.
Or in the case of sick, a chance for them to recover. And hopefully no one else gets sick. Oh, and look at this. Noah
Sale
pushes it into the center, an overrun for Gutterick. Otherwise, that one is another goal.
Who do we have working with us behind the scenes here tonight, Professor?
We got Brandon on camera. We've got Caleb, who did camera for the women's game and parts of this one.
And I understand contractually.
For a while, we had Taylor Fowler.
Well, is Taylor the only one who were contractually allowed to use her last name? Watch out there. That got into the low regions. Pinball. Far sideline, Joe Pegg representing Limestone over there. And
make sure it goes out.
2.5 to play. Network is really making some interesting decisions nowadays. Just surprised nobody's tried to come in and get your professor title yet. We need to copyright that.
Copyright that, huh?
So now here's a corner for Emmanuel, one of the few that the Lions have had tonight.
Only their second.
Comes down a little low.
Oh, nicely placed, but I think the keeper or somebody right next to him was the one that got the foot on it.
And that just skipped its way to Purvis, who's working on a shutout. So Limestone gets through this one tonight without the likes of two starters in Nestor Aguiar and Luis Robles. Good night of soccer as the Limestone women win their game as well. And also clinch a share of the title. A lot of grabbing going on. Opportunity here.
Oh, nicely.
Offside.
Just wasn't recognized right away. So we're down to 1 minute.
Well, Professor, want to thank all our viewers here this evening. And, well, depending on where you're at internationally, Thursday morning. I've enjoyed working with you again.
As I have with you.
Well, thank you. It's not often that I hear that from you. I was wondering. You know, you work together long enough when you just don't need to say anything. Sometimes that's a good thing. That's what's kept us together so long. It's the nasty things that don't get said to each other.
That's right.
Olstad.
Oh, nicely curled in front. Just nobody there for it.
And we're down to the final 10 seconds.
Chance for one final shot, maybe? Nope. And that one will go in the record books for the Saints. Limestone goals scored by Guy Machado with 2 and Miguel Anton with 1.